On that note, I'm now going to move to our next session on the new trends in cash flow management to get a non-banking perspective to accessing finance. And with that, I take the opportunity to welcome and introduce to you Mr. Ketan Gaikwad. Mr. Ketan is the Managing Director and CEO of Receivables Exchange of India Limited. He is a seasoned banker himself with a career spanning 28 years. Prior to joining RXIL, he has held leadership roles in transaction banking in Barclays Bank, Standard Chartered Bank. He started his career with Bank of Baroda and had multiple roles in Standard Chartered Bank, also in heading trade finance and also in Barclays. Mr. Ketan Gaikwad is a science graduate from Mumbai University and has a master's degree in management studies from Symbiosis. And he's completed his executive leadership program from INSEAD, France. So on that note, welcome to you, Mr. Ketan Gaikwad, and we'd love to hear from you in this session.
Thank you, Shalini. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. And I have attended some of the sessions in the morning now. I just briefly have seen the session with the SIDB team over there, and I was glad that the PSB 59 CEO was also there. So I think you would have got the participants would have got a very clear perspective on what exactly is happening in the SME world. Plus, I've attended the little bit session of Mr. Alok Kede also. Alok and me, we are colleagues from my earlier days in Standard Chartered Bank. So glad to to have the session. So I'm going to take briefly a session where I can take the people through what exactly is the financing world is happening in the financing world from the apart from the apart from the banking finance, and then we will have a question answer session. Will that be fine?
Perfect.
Yeah. So I'll share my screen and let me know if it is visible. Can you enable my screen? I think it's disabled. Yeah, got it. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it clearly.
Yeah, so let me just talk about what exactly is happening in the the fintech world and what exactly is happening outside the banking. Even though although the financing is happening on TREDS platform and also banking by the banking industry itself, but this is very important for the MSMEs to know, and especially the startups and the companies which are in the growing phase, which are in the B2B phase. So basically, just a brief on about it, but it's primarily that we have 6.5 crores SMEs in India catering to around 11 crore jobs. They give 11 crore jobs to people, and it's catering to around 29% of India's GDP, and that's the latest data. But the present government has a dispensation of the mandate that we should be, when we are talking about a $5 trillion economy, MSMEs are going to be the important factor on whom the government is concentrating on, and it's very important for everyone to know what exactly is the government's mandate. So government's mandate is that this 29% of India's GDP should be 50% of India's GDP. So basically, they're saying that MSMEs should contribute to 50% of India's GDP, and they should be adding another 5 crore jobs over here. And that's a clear mandate with which the government is working, and that's why it is very important that to note that the government is working towards it. We see a lot of push from MSME ministry, DFS ministry, finance ministry, the RBI, so Prime Minister's office. So that's where we have been touching base with them almost on a regular basis to understand what is exactly happening. So when we find that the MSMEs are so important component of the India's economy, why is it that the MSMEs are facing problem? When the study was carried out last year by November 2019, in November 2019, a study was carried out by ET Magazine. They found that although there is an MSME Act which states very clearly that the MSMEs have to receive the payment within 45 days, they never receive the payment within 45 days. And that's very important for us to know that when the study was carried out, almost it was found out that almost 70% of the MSMEs receive their payment after 90 days, after 80, 90 days. That's what is the truth. And most of them, they end up letting it go, or rather I would say they would write it off because they don't want to follow up continuously with the with the PSUs, because in India, MSMEs are not seen as partners. It's basically they're seen as these corporates look at MSMEs as banks. They treat them as banks because they can decide when they should receive the goods from the MSMEs, but they themselves can decide when to make the payment, and that's the truth of it. They have this attitude of patronizing attitude towards the customer, to the MSMEs, towards the MSMEs. The fact that you're supplying, if I'm a large corporate, if you're supplying to me, it's you have arrived in life, and I'll decide when to make the payment, and that's the scenario in India, and government is seized of it. The government knows about it. And last year, when Madam Nirmala Sitharaman had talked about the last year's budget, 2019, during Diwali time, if you remember, 88,000 crores of the MSME dues which were due at that point of time, and she had urged the government as well as the corporations to release the payment, and that amount was really up to 88,000 crores. That amount has swelled up to 5 lakh crore during the COVID times, and that's the truth. So then, what did the government do? The government has enacted many laws. One of the act was the first, primarily in 2006, the MSME Act, MSMED Act came into being, wherein the MSMEs, it's been mandated that MSME should receive the payment within 45 days. Then the government in 2012 came out with an act saying that when you have dues of MSME, you should disclose in your account statements, or financial accounts, whether there are any dues pending as of the year end. MSME Samadhan portal was set up as a redressal mechanism, but the efficacy of MSME, because MSMEs would not want to complain about the large corporates whom, or the government entities whom they supply. In 2015, the RBI started much before that. The RBI started working on trade receivables discounting system, and I'll come to much details about it. An RBI panel was suggested. RBI panel was set up, suggested setting up a panel, which is a utility panel, which is a national utility panel, where the MSMEs can load their invoices, and the panel has the utility platform has the capability of naming and shaming the corporates. That's something which is set up in 2019, and it's called as National E-Governance Platform. So the 2008, the TREDS platform was envisaged based on an AFIN model, which was a Mexican model, and RBI and SIDBI and NSE came together, and they applied for a license in 2014. In 2016, the entity called as Receivables Exchange was set up, and 2016 December, the approval came in from RBI, and 2017 we executed the first transaction of TREDS. So RXL is basically a company of SIDBI, which is, you have heard about SIDBI in the morning, and NSE, which is, again, you'll be hearing about NSE in the afternoon after my session. Plus we have State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, and Yes Bank as other stakeholders in the company. So basically this initiative has been started with the firm belief that it's a digital platform, and it can facilitate the corporate buyers to release their payments to the MSMEs in a very seamless manner. So what is TREDS exactly? So basically, I'm going to talk much about TREDS. This session is all about TREDS and why people should know about it. Basically, TREDS is a platform wherein you have the buyers, the large corporates on one side, the government entities on one side, and the sellers, all the MSMEs. So when you have the sellers on one side, you have a platform wherein it can be a one-to-many, many-to-one relationship. So one seller might be selling to many buyers on this platform, and one buyer might be procuring from many sellers. And then you have the TREDS platform, which is the RXL platform over here, and you have the financiers. On our platform, we have around 40 odd financiers. So there are three participants in this particular platform, which is buyer, seller, and the financier. So you have the large corporates, or the PSUs, are the buyers. We have the sellers, which are primarily MSMEs only. Till now, it is only MSMEs which have been allowed to come on the platform, and you have the financiers, which are there on the platform. So this platform envisages that you have all these three entities, and these three entities execute an agreement with the exchange, which is with the Receivables Exchange India Limited, or the TREDS platform. So that's exactly how the mechanism is there, where these three entities are there on the platform. So when I said about the one to many, many to one relationship, once the seller comes to the platform, the buyer is also registered, the respective buyer is also registered on the platform. Then there is something called as we set up a buyer seller link between the buyer and the seller, to ensure that the invoices one particular seller goes to that particular buyer. In that particular link, the details about what should be the maximum financing rate, what is the default cost bearer, who's the default cost bearer, who's going to bear the cost for the financing, what is the split between the two platform, between the two buyer and the seller. It all depends on the commercial relationship between them. Who's going to bear the transaction cost? The transaction charge is basically the platform's cost. And normally, what is the credit period? So normally you see that, when you have normally a transaction, you normally give a credit period of 45 days or anything depending on your commercial, discussion with the buyer. So how does it work? So I'll just take 5 minutes to explain how this process works. So basically, you have the MSME vendor on one side and you have the buyer on one side. So once the MSME vendor has sold the goods or the services to the buyer, he sends the invoices to the buyer. At the same time, he uploads those invoices on the Trades platform. And once he uploads the Trades invoices on the Trades platform, it has to be accepted by the buyer. So the MSME vendor sends the invoices to the buyer. At the same time, he uploads his invoices on the buyer on the platform. It has to be accepted by the buyer. It is very important that it has to be accepted by the buyer, because this platform is completely without recourse to the MSME vendor. So this is not a normal bill discounting platform. Here, the MSME vendor gets the financing done, which is a factoring financing done on the platform, which is completely based on the risk of the buyer. So that means tomorrow the MSME vendor can come and sell the goods to the buyer. At the same time, he can put the invoices on the platform, and if the buyer is there, buyer accepts those invoices, and he can get the finance, straight away from the platform. He did not wait for the due date for the payment to come from the buyer. So once the acceptance is done by the buyer, it becomes the factoring unit. And once it becomes a factoring unit, it becomes visible to the financier to start bidding for it. So on our platform, we have seen bidding happening. It's very, very competitive, and it's very, I would say, healthy, rates we have seen. For example, if I were to tell you that if a normal MSME vendor were to do the discounting on the platform on his particular, which is collateral based with his own bank, assuming that he's selling into a large corporate like a Tata Motors or a BHEL or an NTPC or a L&D or something like that, and if you were to do the bill discounting for that particular platform, for this particular bill discounting mechanism, the funds would be with recourse to him. So that means if the buyer does not pay on the due date, it will be recovered from him. But on this platform, it's completely without recourse. So and the rates are also much competitive, because here you have a rate discovery mechanism which works on the platform. So then the financier bids for it. So there is a very competitive bidding goes on between the financier. It is L1, L2. So depending on the rate, and depending on whoever is accepting the bar, the rate, the acceptance needs to be done. So example, if the MSME vendor is accepting the he's going to uh, have the rate, or he's going to pay for the he's going to bear the cost, then he will have to accept it. If the buyer is going to bear the cost, he is going to accept it. So once it is acceptance is done, there's an obligation which is created between the financier and the buyer. So that means the buyer will have to make the payment on the due date. There is no two ways about it. He has to make the payment. That's the trades guidelines. And once this entire thing is done, the next day the MSME will receive the payment by 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. He has the credit in his account. So that means if this entire mechanism happens before 4 o'clock by afternoon, the next day the MSME can receive the payment in his account. And on the due date, we have a NACH mandate, which we have a debit authority from the buyer. So we don't wait for the buyer to make the payment. So we actually go and debit his account. We pull the money from his account on the due date. So I'll just run through the presentation. So if you have any questions, we can take it at the end of the session. So there are two types of processes which happen on the platform. One is the factoring process flow, where the interest is borne by the seller. So here the seller or the MSME vendor uploads the invoices on the platform. The buyer will accept that invoice. The financier will bid for the invoice. So the financier do the competitive bidding, and there's a rate discovery mechanism. The seller will accept the bid because the seller is going to bear the cost. So he will accept the bid. The financiers will then disburse the funds to the seller by the next day morning, or if it happens after 4 o'clock, it is one more T+1 day over there. And then the seller receives the funds within 48 hours. So either if the transaction happens before 4 o'clock, the seller will receive the fund by the next day by 9 o'clock, or if the the entire transaction happens after 4 o'clock, then the seller will receive the payment after T+2 days. and then the buyer pays the financier on the due date, and the financier receives the outstanding amount on the due date by the platform debiting his particular account on the due date. Reverse factoring is where the buyer uploads the invoices. So here the buyer gives the information about uploading the invoices on the platform, and he uploads the invoices and he controls when the payment has to be made to the supplier. Now here the advantage is that the buyer uploads the invoices, the seller receives the payment, and the buyer goes for an extended period. So sometimes it is between the buyer and the seller who's going to bear the cost. So in particularly in reverse factoring, the buyer is the one who accepts the, who is bearing the cost. So he goes for an extended tenor. So he will upload the invoice to the platform. The financiers bid for it. The buyer accepts the bid, and then the financier disburses the fund. And on the due date, the buyer makes the payment, or we make the payment from his account. So what are the benefits for the MSME sellers, especially this particular group, which is the MSMEs? So, you receive the funds within 48 hours. So that is what the advantage is. So you don't have to, if you have the buyer on the other side who's completely there on the platform, who accepts those invoices or your invoices in a B2B scenario, you receive the payment within 48 hours in your in your account. Then you have a chance that you have multiple financiers on who are looking at the invoices. So that means you're not restricted only to your particular platform or your particular bank, but you have access to those 30-40 banks which are there in case you're supplying to many buyers. Then of course there is a lower cost of fund. We have seen that for corporates, we have seen the average cost on the platform ranging from 6% to around 8 to 9%. So that is the range of the financing which happens, rate at which happens. So we have seen the rates going down drastically. In fact, we have received a letter from the many associations, or other, I would noteworthily say that we have received a letter from the BHEL Association of MSMEs that they did transactions worth 300 crores, and they have saved out around 6 crores just in the interest cost. And that is the truth. I mean, we did over a period of 6 months, we did a financing of around 300 crores, and they ended up saving some 6 crores in during that period. And this is without obligation. So, this is a without recourse borrowing for the MSMEs. And that is what actually is suitable, because tomorrow, once you receive the money directly in your account, you are free to, liquidate or liquidate your loans, or churn that particular, particular order, or you can do multiple orders with that particular thing, because your working capital is not locked over there. The buyers have the benefit that they have multiple financiers looking at that particular their invoices at one point of time, and it's not restricted only to one particular bank or where the supply chain is happening. Then we feel that it can free their bandwidth for follow-ups and all that. And then again, based on the traction which they have on the platform, they go on reducing, or rather I would say they go on changing, or procurement terms are changed to ensure that they are suitable for both the parties. And because if the MSME is receiving the payment very well within its time and a very competitive cost, then they end up enhancing the procurement terms. There is a lot of integration which happens between the platform, and actually this platform strengthens the buyer relationship with the buyer. What we have seen during the lockdown period is that in the first 1 or 2 months, you would have seen, you've been aware that many of the large corporates came across and said very clearly that they are not going to make the payment for any suppliers till they're very clear on what is exactly happening. But suddenly we found that there was a realization which came upon the corporates that they have to sustain their buyer, they have to sustain their ecosystem, the supply chain ecosystem. And the supply chain ecosystem, I've been in the supply chain ecosystem for very long. I know that if your supply chain is as weak as, or as good as, the weakest link in that particular in the chain. So that's why it's very important for you, for the corporate, as a corporate, to ensure that you sustain even the lowest, weakest possible link in your political ecosystem. So that's what we found, that with the what we found during the lockdown period was the corporates were very keen. The corporates who were not keen on joining the platform before the COVID scenario, they were very keen on joining the platform, and we have seen varied results, or I would say much better results during the COVID period, where the corporates are much more forthcoming in supporting their MSME ecosystem. Financiers have the advantage that whatever has been disbursed on the platform gets a priority sector lending treatment. And we have seen that the 27,000 crores which has been dispersed through this platform between the three exchanges. We have in India three exchanges. One is, as what we have told, it's our company, which is promoted by NSE and SIDBI and State Bank of India and ICICI Bank and Yes Bank. There is another platform which is promoted by Invoice Smart, which is promoted by Axis Bank. It's called Invoice Smart. And there is a third platform, which is a promoter-based platform based out of Delhi, which is called as M1 Exchange. So these are the three exchanges which have got licenses for doing the trades discounting on the platform. So what are the initiatives? So basically, the government has been very keen that this platform grows, and there are many. You would be reading about a lot of news, a lot of tidbits in the paper on what exactly is happening on Trades platform. So when the Trades platform got started, the MSME, the government came out with the initiative that all the MSME, all the PSU should get registered on the Trades platform. So they made it mandatory. And as far as the banks were concerned, that they ensured that the whatever financing which happens on the platform is categorized as priority sector lending treatment. And then the government in 2018 came out in November 2018 came out with a mandate that all the corporates, all mind you, all the corporates in India who have the turnover of more than 500 crores have to necessarily come on the platform. So, but yeah, what people do is, they just registered for the sake of registering and for compliance sake. They're not transacting on the platform, and that is what the government is now pushing it. In fact, there was a parliamentary committee or standing committee on finance which sat across and which has given a recommendations to the parliament now, which very clearly say that the MSME, the PSU sector as well as corporates, they should make it mandatory and to see how they can get started on the transactions on the platform. The government, I would say that the government is keenly following up. The RBI is following up clearly. The MSME ministry is following up clearly on how this platform can grow. How can we get more MSMEs which are in the B2B world to start transacting on the platform? Even the buyer is also on the platform. Now it has been decided that the Factoring Act is getting amended, and so the NBFCs can come on the platform and they can start transacting. So currently we have only the bankers, we have the NBFC factoring companies which are there on the platform. Now you also have the enabling factoring amendment act getting amended, which will allow the NBFCs also to come on the platform. So that means there is a whole lot of a larger liquidity and a larger role play which the government is seeing in ensuring that this particular platform prospers, or I would say the business increases, the traction increases, because people have seen the benefits. We have seen a lot of benefits coming out of this particular platform. So how can Trades address the delayed issue to the payment of the MSME? So what we have been interacting with the government, we have told them very clearly that you have to make it mandatory that the Trades platform, where the B2B financing is, B2B invoices are happening, you have to make it mandatory. Some part of it should be routed through the Trades platform. So that is something the government is working on it. Then we have very clearly told the government that you should have or define timelines for the state enterprises or the corporates to start transacting, because currently what is happening is the corporates are registering, they're not getting started on the platform. So that is primarily true for PSUs, and that is something which is being worked upon by the government. We find that the government will work upon uh, 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 will make it mandatory for the transactions to start happening on the Trades platform. Then we are seeing that during the pre-COVID period or during the COVID period, the Trades platform, the banks were not doing the finance so wholeheartedly, but that was only temporarily the phase. But now we have seen that the bankers, in fact, have double the limits on the Trades platform, and they are keen that there are more transactions get happen on the platform, on the Trades platform. The MSME classification is something which we are banking on, and that is something which has already been, there already there now, which is already there. The turnover based classification is already there now for MSMEs. We were also batting for direct linkage with the GSTN network. So that is something which we are working upon. The ministry is very clear that they want to work on it, wherein the invoices can come on the Trades platform directly from the GSTN. So the moment the invoices are loaded, and as you know very clearly that e-invoicing is going to become a mandatory thing for almost all the corporates from 1st of April. Currently, it's only there for the large corporates with turnover of 500 crores and above. So that is something which is being worked upon by the government, that once that e-invoicing comes in place, is it possible for us to integrate the GSTN network with the TREDS platform, wherein all the invoices can come directly on the TREDS platform based on the consent from the supplier, and then the supplier can choose which invoices he wants to finance, or the government also gets the data that, okay, fine, the invoices are there, but why the corporates not coming in and allowing the MSMEs to get finance for it? So that is something which is being worked upon, and which is there in the, in fact, in the recommendations of the parliamentary committee, which has just submitted its report to the parliament in the session which is on now, and we expect that, that will get approved, where they are saying very clearly that GST and invoices should be pushed across to the TREDS platform. So these are the things which are there, which I thought I'll share it with you. And as a part of the process, the government is keen that, the MSME should get registered on the platform. So then the SIDBI came out with a scheme under the SIDBI Swavalamban Crisis Fund scheme, wherein the MSMEs are allowed to register on the TREDS platform free of cost. So I would urge that if you're running your MSME companies, and if you are as a startup also, you should get registered, irrespective whether you have the B2B business at this point of time, whatever, because the registration is free as of now. And then once you have once your B2B starts, or maybe once your buyer comes on the board, or you can also give us the names of the buyers to come on board, and we can also approach them to get registered on the platform, because it's a mandatory requirement for them. So that is something which we are working out with the government, and I thought it is very necessary for the whole industry, or I make it a point to tell people that, look, TREDS platform is something which can change the way the suppliers get finance in this country, and because it's completely it's completely based on the rate discovery mechanism, and basically the MSMEs, this funding is basically without recourse to MSMEs, and based on the supplies to the large corporates or whichever corporates they supply. So these are some things which I thought it's necessary for the entire ecosystem, or the MSME ecosystem, to know, so they can start registering on the platform, and they can come on the platform. So Shalini, that's it from my side, and I think I'm open for question answer session if people have questions.
That was absolutely wonderful, Ketan. Thanks so much for sharing, the details of how TREDS works. Because I know for a fact that several MSMEs were aware that TREDS exists. Not everybody, but few knew. But very many of them have been averse to registering themselves for multiple reasons. Just because they don't know how it works. Just because they don't know will it be of any use or value. But what you've told everyone today and shown everyone is not just from the government perspective in terms of impetus towards the whole thing, but also in terms of reality, how the whole ecosystem is working with regards to the corporates thrust and with regards to the financiers on the platform, and how RxIL is really making that difference today. So wonderful session from you, Ketan. A couple of questions that are coming up, as I can see, I'm going to take them one by one. So the cost you said is definitely zero at this point of time, so which is excellent for people. What is it in terms of eligibility? Is there a turnover eligibility or any other criteria or credit rating criteria, anything that is required as eligibility?
You're talking about?
Sorry, I think we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, is it for the MSMEs you're talking about?
That's right.
Yeah, so no, there is no turnover criteria or any eligibility crisis. The only thing is they need to have the Udyam portal number, or they need to have the Udyog Aadhaar number. And let's understand that this platform is basically for B2B businesses. So this is there to take care of the delayed payment. So if you have the large corporate on the other side, you should come on the platform over here.
Absolutely. We have another question coming from Anita Rajmohan. Yeah, could you take that question, please?
Yeah, so what is that question, if you can tell me?
Sorry, I'm not able to see it too well on my screen at the moment. Yeah, so I think we'll take it up a little later when I'm able to see it clearly.
I think the question is whether basically the buyer is it that the buyer is put in the fix, will that not handle the relationship with the seller and the buyer? Yeah, because see, look, you have to call the shots because at the end of the day, you are the supplier. There is always a threat perception that if I put myself, can you hear me? You can hear me, right?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So basically, there is always a threat perception that look, if I go and put the invoices on a trust platform, so you have to discuss with the buyer. So the buyer always is keen that his supplier. If the supplier is getting the payment on time, I don't think the buyer should have an issue. But yes, there are certain buyers who don't like, because at the end of the day, there is a commitment which is there on the platform. Because look, I can give a scenario where, and that is exactly the reason why the buyers are not planning to come, and that's why the mandate is going to come from the government, because it is simple like this, that look, Shalini, you have an invoice of 1 lakh rupee and I'm supposed to make the payment to you on 31st of March.
Yep.
Now you have one other invoice of 1 lakh rupee and I'm supposed to make the payment to you on 31st of March again. But you discount one invoice and you don't discount the other invoice. So
Mm.
that invoice which has been discounted, the buyer gets obligated to make the payment to the platform on that particular due date, or the buyer or the platform will make the payment, pull the payment from his account
Yeah.
on that particular due date. So that puts a kind of a commitment for the buyer to make the payment, because tomorrow, being a MSME, he can decide not to make the payment to you.
Mm.
He can decide, 31st March is not an obligation for me to make the payment to Shalini. I can extend it by another 10, 15 days, and she's not going to say, because if she says something, I'll say, okay, fine, I don't want the next shipment from you. But this has to stop somewhere, and that's where the government is thinking about it, on how we can do something. And that's why you can keep on hearing a lot of tidbits from even Mr. Gadkari also very clearly says that they are going to get a legislation wherein the MSMEs have to receive the payment within 45 days, though the MSME Act says very clearly. But look, people are receiving the payment after 45 days, and that's the truth. But that's something which needs to be called upon, because I have my friends who have suffered where they are not receiving the payments within this 45 days, or they are outstanding for many years together. So
Right.
then, it is something like the banks, the corporates are using the MSMEs like a bank
True.
for funding their own working capital, and it's cheating kind of a thing. But that's the harsh reality over here. And the MSME thinks that, look, if I raise my voice, then this guy is not going to make the payment, or this not I'm not going to get the order. But till when this is going to continue? Because at the end of the day, if you do not call it, then you have to ultimately will have to close the shop. I mean, that's unfortunately the case, that many MSMEs will have to close the shop because they're not getting paid adequately, or they're not getting paid on time by the corporate over there. So yes, it does put the corporate in a fix. The government is aware of it, and they want them to be put on fix. Because at the end of the day, look, even the MSME Samadhan portal is there, but Samadhan portal, how many people go and complain? The statistics are not so good. That's the truth.
Very true. Very true. Absolutely. Totally agree with you, Ketan. In fact, I look at this, in fact, a little more positively, given the fix as well that it puts the buyer into. I look at this from the perspective that many MSMEs who were very averse to transacting with government in the past, transacting with large bodies today will definitely feel more comfortable about going through them, because end of the day it means sales, it means transparency, it means credibility, putting it out there on threads and saying I am there, you are also there as a buyer, and let's make this work in some fashion. So it definitely gives the trust necessary as a platform. So it's excellent. I'm sure it'll take time for certain bodies who are using this for their own working capital, as that's the power of the size of the organization, and traditionally they have been used to it. It's going to be a mindset change from
The mindset change. Basically, I would say that look, that's a patronizing attitude from the corporates, that
true.
I will decide when to make the payment for you. So you are basically at a one level lower to me, that I can decide when you will receive a pay. It's a fact, and that's the truth. We have been telling the government also that look, unless you start the government departments, which are the main culprits, PSUs, it is not going to start. So they are working towards it. I feel that something will happen. We have been working with the MSME ministry also to see how this can be speeded up, how this can start working. So I feel a lot of developments are happening in that front.
Wonderful. The other fact that I want to also bring out, you called it loud, and I hope the MSMEs have heard this, is there are various platforms like Threads. There are other platforms as well. There are private players as well who are doing similar form of financing for you through online portals. I think what's important to realize is the credibility of the platform itself. Treads itself is the platform that is, with the government backing behind it, with NSE and SIDBI behind it, and we should realize that the power of that. Also, at this point of time, for you to register, there would be a cost at any platform, and right now you're getting this completely free on Treads. So I would go out and shout out, giving all the MSMEs a call to go ahead and register yourselves, be there, and as you grow, you will see the power of the platform for yourself.
Yeah, so I would like to call out the distinction between the other platforms. I'm not talking about the Treads platform, but I'm talking about the unregulated platforms. So the Treads platform are regulated, but the unregulated platforms, like there are mushrooming, and they take a lot of undertakings from the MSMEs and all that, and the financing happens over there at more than 20%. And the MSMEs fall into the trap and they agree for it. But here you have a platform where you have the large corporate at the other side. It's without collateral and without any, I mean, say, without recourse to you. So at the end of the day, when the payment which is received by you, it's without recourse. So that's the beauty of it. And secondly, the rates are also competitive because the financing is done by the nationalized banks, the PSUs, as well as the private banks, MNC banks also. If the corporate on the other side is too good, I mean, we have the MNCs also bidding for it. So the rates are very competitive. We have seen the rates moving from 8% to 4.5%. The minimum rate we on a platform which is 4.5%. So can you imagine an MSME who's supplying to a large corporate getting a financing done at 4.5%? It is for the topmost corporate on a platform, but they're getting that rate. And even if it is financing for 3 days or 4 days, they take it because they do not want themselves to follow up with the corporate to get the payment. Here you come on the platform, take your payment, and you're out. And then the follow up is the banks, the debit happens from the bank's from the buyer's account on the due date. So that is the beauty of it. So that is the ecosystem which is getting changed. And the beauty of it, tomorrow, once you come on a digital platform like this, you're creating a digital history. And that is very important. In this today's world, creating a digital history or creating a digital, I would say, the footprint for a corporate or an MSME is very important because that helps them in getting many other loans or any other, things which are available in the system. And that's where, term loans or anything like that, if the recovery mechanism is faster and the turnover of the inventory is very good, then the banks look at it favorably. So that is what is the advantage scenario over here.
Totally agree. Um, so MSME is an important point that Mr. Ketan just explained also is in terms of recourse to you. A lot of platforms would give you financing not just at higher rates, as you mentioned, but also there is a recourse to you, which means tomorrow if the corporate does not pay on time, on due date, then the entire liability comes back to you despite having finance. So one is you would have already paid money to get a receivable in advance. Also, you would have got a recourse to you, which means you land up paying for it back to the platform. So one needs to understand the details well in the fine prints well before they get on to some of these platforms. So there are a lot of mushrooming fintechs out there. You have to be very, very careful. So those who are looking for more details and more solutions for their business requirements, please go out there, look up for the upcoming business accelerator program, which is the MSME growth revival accelerator program coming up, and be a part of it. Join and register yourself so that you can get the benefits of going to the right platforms, getting the right solutions for your business requirements. Great. So any other questions, please shoot them out. We also have the backend team there supporting Ketan. And if people have any more questions, we would love to take them. At this point, I think we have been good on time as well. We will wait for a minute for another question from anyone else.
I think I can see some questions. So what's the discount rate in general for 45 days? So what we have seen is depending on the large corporate on the other side, it is all dependent on them. So we have seen the rates as low as 4.5% for a discounting which happens up to 30 days. Plus we have seen, discounting happening even at 9% if the corporate on the other side is a triple B rated corporate. So depending on the corporate, the rate depends. And sometimes up to 180 days also the financing can happen at even 5.5% also. So that is the beauty of the entire thing over here. And the next question is about what happens if the buyer has insufficient funds in the bank account when pulling the funds on the due date. Yeah, so the mechanism is such that tomorrow on the due date the platform pulls the money from the account of the from the buyer. So in case tomorrow there are no funds, we give 1 or 2 days time. Maybe the funds are not available at that point of time. The corporate will say that look, I'll make the payment today itself, or there is some technical issue or something like that. But otherwise, if the funds are not there on the platform, or funds are not there in the buyer's account, then he gets the same treatment as a defaulter on a normal particular loan or whatever it is. So he gets reported into SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2. So that's what it is. So let us be very clear that the recourse is not to the buyer MSME at all. So it's the buyer who's on the hook, and he needs to make the payment. And let me also tell you that look, there are many corporates who have realized this, and they're using the platform very beautifully. That they are managing their working capital limits completely on the platform. So buyers have suddenly realized that this platform is very good for us to work, and they are saving money with discounts or whatever it is, and they're coming on the platform. So that's the truth of it.
So I'll go to the last question out here, probably from Ritesh, which says, I have an outstanding from December 2014. How to recover? How can government help? Can he come on now for that receivable?
No, because these are the invoices which are current and due, which are there. So basically, let us be very clear that this is without recourse funding, which is happening with on the buyers with the buyer recourse to the buyer. So that means even if you load the invoices, the buyer has to accept those invoices. So only after the buyer has accepted the invoices, then the finances agree for doing the financing for that particular invoice. So it becomes a factoring unit, and that's the guidelines which are there. So even if you have invoices which are 2014 old, there is no way this will get financed on the TREDS platform, because that has to be settled separately outside the platform by the MSME.
Right. One more question, which is Yogi Tripathi says he has a CIBIL score of 650 and he's a proprietor. So he's struggling with, on finance front. So can he be on this platform?
Yeah, yeah. Provided, see, look, let us be very clear that this particular platform has nothing to do with the SME score. So whether you have a score or whether you do not have a score, we just get you onboarded onto the platform. The risk is completely on the buyer side. So then we look at the buyer on the other side on his score. So it's a B2B platform. So when it is a B2B platform, that means the buyer on the other side is looked upon to make the payment on the due date. So whether you have a score, whether you don't have a score, doesn't matter at all to come on the TREDS platform. So that means what I'm trying to say over here is that if you are supplying in a B2B scenario to a large corporate, you should always register on the TREDS platform. But at the same time, yeah, we have to keep it in mind that the buyer also has to register, and the buyer also has to accept those invoices.
Got it. Wonderful. So we're on time, and I think we've answered most questions very well, Ketan. And thanks so much for your time, your insights, the guidance, and showing them live in terms of what the ecosystem right now is able to do to enable this for MSMEs. So thank you very much, Ketan. Also, special thanks to Hitesh in the backend who's
Yeah.
supporting. Yeah. Thanks, RXIL.
Thank you. Thank you.